everyone, hope you're doing amazing today. We're doing really well, thank you. My name is Carolina Fonseca Jimenez. I focus on doing children's books that promote love, unity, and peace. And as you know, we also interpret dreams. The reason that we interpret them is because when we do, we are connecting with our subconscious, and when we share them, we connect with one another on a more profound level. So guys, in this video, we are going to talk about the dreams that we've had this week. A lot of the dreams that you've sent in are about relationships, okay? And we're going to interpret 2 of them. But before we do that, I want to talk about the most popular one sent in this week, and that is dreaming that your partner is being unfaithful. Okay, now before you wake up and you start accusing your partner of this, know that not every dream actually means that. Okay, just because you dream that your partner is being unfaithful doesn't mean that they are. Remember, your feelings are always going to guide you in your interpretation, all right? But let's just talk about it generally before we interpret the next 2 dreams. So let's pretend I have a dream where my partner's being unfaithful, okay? One of the reasons can be simply that I'm living my life, and let's say that there are things going on with my partner that I really, that are really bugging me. They're really getting under my skin, but I'm trying to avoid conflict. So let's say I'm trying to avoid conflict, so I don't really say it. I kind of just keep it to myself, okay? Well, all of these frustrations, all of these kinds of worries and doubts, all of that is going to be gathered in my subconscious, and then it's going to come up in dream state, okay? And remember, dream state is going to be dramatic. It is going to be like more vibrant, okay, enough to get your attention, okay? So you could very well have a dream like this, that your partner is being unfaithful. Now, that's simply just a representation of all the frustration, right? Because it's guided by your feelings. So if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling like you're not being paid attention to, that is simply going to show up in your dream state, right? Now let's think of this second option. Let's say that I actually think my partner's being unfaithful. Let's say that I've seen certain things where I'm pretty sure that they're being unfaithful, but I haven't really confronted my partner, or I'm kind of not wanting to talk about it, right? I'm kind of trying to avoid that conversation and just brush it under the rug kind of thing. If that indeed is something that I have been doing, then that is going to also show up in dream state. And a lot of the time it will show up in that kind of way where your partner is being unfaithful, right? And it's simply your subconscious saying, wake up, you know this is going on, so do something about it, say something about it. Like, we are tired of putting up with this, okay? Now, let's move on to a third example of what this could mean. If you're dreaming your partner is being unfaithful, there could also be just internal kinds of conflicts, right? Let's say I'm not feeling good about myself. I'm feeling kind of like I've got low self-esteem. I don't feel very attractive. I'm feeling like, oh, this is just terrible. Like I'm going through this kind of pity party, right? If I'm living my life through all of this pity party and all of these things, these kinds of heavy energies and stuff, that's all I have to offer the world, right? That's what I have to offer my partner. That's what I have to offer my job. That's what I have to offer. And guess what? All of this insecurity, all of that, it can manifest itself in a dream where your partner is being unfaithful. Why? Because I'm an insecure person. I'm insecure. They must have found somebody better than me. I'm not good enough. The whole bit. Do you see how, the same, or having a dream that somebody is being unfaithful can mean so many different things depending on your particular perspective and your feelings? Okay, so it can mean different things for different people. So don't always assume that it means that your partner's being unfaithful, okay? Let's just use your feelings to help guide you through that dream, okay? And then reflect it outward, okay? Reflect it outward so that you can really see what in your waking life is making you feel the exact same way that you feel in your dream state, okay? That's going to help guide you as well. Now, let's go ahead and get started with our interpretations. The first one is, okay, so this woman is having a dream that her partner is being unfaithful. And in this particular dream, she says that she's not actually part of the dream. She's kind of outside, kind of like a fly on the wall, okay? She's a fly on the wall, and she sees her husband, and she sees him with another woman, okay? She sees him with another woman, and she is like really angry. She is like really angry, really frustrated, and she's just like not knowing what to do. She's trying to actually do something, but she can't. She physically can't do it because she's literally not even a full part of the dream. She's kind of just like a spectator, okay? So she says that she wakes up with this frustrated, angry kind of energy, and she says she treats him really bad for the entire day, and she's just like watching him because she thinks he's being unfaithful, you are not trustworthy. So she's got this whole energy the entire day, and she says she was just drained by it, that it was just exhausting for her. So let's talk about this a little bit further, okay? Because like we said, just because you dream, that doesn't mean that it's a literal representation of it. But okay, in this particular dream, you say that you were really angry and you're really frustrated, okay, at your partner, okay? So let's reflect this outward, okay? What is going on in your relationship where you're feeling that anger, where you're feeling that frustration? It may not be that it's another person, okay? It could be a situation within your relationship with him, okay? So what in your waking life and in your relationship with this person are you feeling that level of frustration, that level of anger? Have you spoken up about the things that are frustrating you? Have you spoken up about those kinds of issues that you want to talk about? Most likely you haven't, okay? And we know this because you are seeing it in your dream state. Remember, guys, whenever you have a dream about something, and especially if you have these really intense feelings, it's letting us know that you haven't been paying attention. It's basically an alert from your subconscious saying, pay attention to this. Okay, so there's something going on with your relationship that is causing you this level of anger and this level of frustration, and we haven't dealt with it yet, right? So it's time to act on it. But now let's take this even a step further with your interpretation, okay? And that is a very important note that you made when you told me your dream, and that is that you saw yourself as a spectator. You weren't actually part of your dream. Remember, you are the creator of your dream, okay? So if in your own dream you are not seeing yourself as a part of it, that is letting us know that there's a disconnect with your inner self, okay? There's a complete disconnect with your inner self. We know this because you are only a spectator in your dream. You're trying to get involved, you're trying to be a part of it, but you literally can't. You are just an observer. Okay, so this also lets us know that that same frustration that you're feeling with your relationship, that is also internal. Okay, there's a frustration that you're having internally with yourself, and that is something that we need to work on, right? Because remember, guys, whenever we have a dream of relationships, it is a representation of the relationship, but to take it a step further, it's also a representation of our inner beings, okay? Because remember, the energy that we have within is what we can share to the world. That is what we share in our relationships, in our work groups, everywhere that we go, all right? So if in this dream you feel this kind of anger, you feel this kind of frustration, let's take time to work on it in our waking life, okay? Now that we know what it's trying to tell us, there are some serious anger issues, angry stuff, angry energy going on in my relationship, okay? So it's time for me to take more of an active role in it, okay? Because at this point, my dream is telling me that I haven't been active on it, okay? I haven't been active. I've been a spectator. I've just been watching this all go down. I haven't been involved. Okay, so that is the alert. That is the underlying alert of your dream. It's time to be more involved. Okay, it's time to be involved. It's time to speak up when things are bothering me. It's time to have that conversation with my husband. Okay, now, thank you for sending your dream. Okay, don't ever look at your dream and get fear from it, because I know that at the bottom of your comment you also said that you had fear because you were thinking that they actually were cheating on you. And you know what? We actually don't fully know yet, right? But what we do know is that there needs to be some work on that connection with yourself, and we know that there are some things that are really bothering you that you need to speak up about, okay? So whether this person is being unfaithful or not, let's take the steps that we do know, okay? And that is to be more outspoken, to really connect with myself and be honest with what I'm feeling, okay? Let's take those next steps that we do know and let the rest of it unfold for you, okay? Remember that your dream state is always going to help guide you. Okay, thank you for sending it in. Now, let's move on to our next dreamer. This particular dreamer says that she's actually in Mexico, and that her and her husband are like walking up this hill, okay? They're walking up this kind of hilly path, and she sees a lot of people around that she doesn't know. But her and her husband are walking up this little hill, and as they're walking up, she kind of pauses for a moment, and she looks at him, and when she looks at him, she says that he sees his face as like a skeleton, like just like a skeleton face, but not painted, like an actual skeleton's face, right? She says she gets very scared when she sees it, and then she says that one of his eyes is no longer an eye, but it's like a black hole, and there's like smoke in it, okay? So this really freaks her out. She wakes up, and then like she rolls over and sees his face, and then remembers that image, and it terrifies her, and she's been kind of shaken up about it since then, okay? So remember that whenever we have a dream, when we wake up with fearful energy, we want to move to neutral and then to loving energy before we interpret it, okay? Now that we can do that, we can look at it with loving eyes and not create more fear for ourselves, okay? So let's talk a little bit about this dream. In this dream, we know that you and your partner have gone through a lot of little problems together. There have been a lot of difficulties, like many of us, right? We know this because you are walking up a hill, okay? So there's always a little bit of strain when you're walking up a hill. But even though you're walking up a hill, even though you've gone through some difficulties, some kinds of issues, you've done it together. You've managed to stay united. We know this because you're walking together, okay? Now, you take a pause. You kind of pause somewhere while you're going up this hill, and you look at him, and when you look at him, you see this kind of skeleton, right? This skull. This is, I know it caused you fear, okay, but this is simply an alert, okay? This is an alert. Your subconscious has been gathering a lot of information about your husband, okay, and you've got some genuine concerns. You're concerned about something that's going on with him. It's something that you don't really know what it is, okay? You're feeling a little bit disconnected with it. And we know this because you see that kind of black hole and you say it's smoky, okay? That lets us know that there are some things that are unknown to us, right? But still, you're profoundly worried about him, enough so that in your dream state, your subconscious is showing him to you like with skeleton, right? He's just a skeleton. That's what his face looks like. He's got this hole in there. So we know that there's some kind of disconnect there, and we know that there's something going on with him profoundly, okay, that we may need to help guide him on, okay? So now whenever we have a dream like this that really scares us like this, it's simply an alert letting us know there's something going on with this person. My subconscious knows it. Like, my subconscious really, really knows it. But now it's time for me to ask those questions. Now it's time for me to take this information to my waking state. Okay, because remember guys, your subconscious is gathering info all day long, all right? And a lot of the time we dismiss the information because we're like, oh, let's not worry about it right now. Let's just kind of push it to the side. But your subconscious doesn't want that. Your subconscious wants you to deal with it. So that is why it's presenting itself in your dream state. Now, for your particular dream, we know that there's going to be something that is developing with your husband. So it could be emotional issues. It could be a health concern. I'm not sure, but there's something going on with him at a very profound level, and you're going to be guiding him through this, okay? We know that it may be kind of a difficult path because you're kind of going uphill, but still you are going to be united with him and you are going to help guide him through it, okay? Literally, you both are on this path together. So for this week, that is what I recommend to you. Simply talk to him, have that conversation, find out what is going on at that deep level with him, because there's something going on with him that he probably hasn't shared with you yet, but just let him know that you are his support system. You're there to help him, and hopefully he'll open up to you, right? Because a lot of the time it's hard for men to open up to us, right? So we just need to make sure that they know that we're here, we're going to support them through it, right? So now guys, remember that whenever you have a dream of your relationship, if your partner is being unfaithful, anything like this, remember that it doesn't always mean that literally, okay? Your feelings are always going to guide you within any interpretation of your dream. But remember this too, whenever you're dreaming about a relationship, remember that it is a reflection of how you feel in that relationship. But a step further is the way that you're interacting in this relationship is simply a reflection of how you're treating yourself internally as well, okay? And that is important, and that is powerful, because remember, if we're filled with loving energy, with energy of peace, that is what we can share with the world. That is what we can create within our relationships, right? But if I'm operating out of a place of insecurity, a place of fear, that is what I also share, and that is my perspective, and that is how I interact in this relationship, okay? So this week is a time for us to reconnect with ourselves, to remember that we are love, unity, and peace, and to know that whenever we're having these dreams, especially the dreams that wake us up, that make us angry, that make us fearful, all of that, remember that those are just alerts, okay? Your dreams are just here to guide you, right? During the day, you're gathering all of this information in your subconscious, and when it gets to your dream state, it's simply an alert letting you know, time to focus, time to get ourselves back into that loving energy, okay? So guys, I send you a big hug, I send you love, unity, and peace, and we will be in contact, okay? Bye everyone.